Happy Friday, friends. I hope that you are enjoying this beautiful spring day and that you're looking forward to worshiping Jesus with your brothers and sisters here at Calvary on Sunday. Man, I'm excited to worship Him with you. And as we do, we're going to dive back into our study in the book of Galatians and into chapter 3, where Paul has been working through this argument to defend the gospel from attack. You see, these Judaizers had come into the churches there in Galatia, and they were teaching that, you know what, Jesus is good, grace is good, faith is good, but you need more. That's not enough for salvation. You need to bring that salvation to a full completion by getting circumcised, by keeping certain requirements of the civil and ceremonial law. You need to also be faithful to obey and thereby sort of earn your status with God, earn your righteousness and sonship before God. Well, Paul writes back to these churches to say, don't listen to that, not even for a minute. That is false. That is not the true gospel. The true gospel is that God, the good news is that God has always saved people by His grace, received simply in faith. That people are never saved because they've been good or they've done anything to sort of impress God. It's not about our performance. It's about what Jesus has done for us. And that is what we are trusting. And so we are saved by grace through faith alone, totally separate from and apart from the law. So that's what Paul has been teaching. And yet, in that, you may have a kind of nagging question that's being raised in your heart and mind as we walk through this series, and that is this. Well, Dustin, didn't God give the law? Isn't the law coming from God there in the Old Testament? Doesn't the law sort of reflect the holiness of God? So why the law then? If Paul is now saying that it's unhelpful and in fact damning to consider leaning into the law for our own salvation, why did God give the law to begin with? And is it bad? Is the law actually bad? Well, Paul answers a lot of these questions that you may have about the law throughout the rest of this chapter. And so for the next 2 weeks, we're going to wrestle with the law, its place in the redemptive plan of God, and answer questions perhaps like, is the law still relevant for us today? So I'm excited to dive in here with you. And just as a sneak peek, I want you to understand that the law isn't bad, but the promise, we're going to study this Sunday, the promise is far better. And it leads us to a spectacular future, an inheritance that will blow you away. And so I'm excited to study that with you on Sunday. Hope to see you there.